The Sister Abhaya case, a 28-year quest for justice. The clock struck 4 a.m. in the quiet town of Kottayam, Kerala, a place where the gentle hum of morning prayers typically broke the silence. Inside the St. Pius X convent, a young nun named Sister Abhaya rose from her bed, her alarm piercing the stillness. She had exams looming and was determined to steal a few extra hours of study before dawn. Slipping into her sandals, she made her way through the darkened halls, unaware that this would be her final morning. Hours later, her lifeless body was found at the bottom of a well, her slipper abandoned by the kitchen sink, water spilled across the floor, and a chilling mystery born. What happened to Sister Abhaya that night in 1992? And why would it take 28 years to uncover the truth? Background and setup. Kottayam, nestled in the lush, green heart of Kerala, India, was a serene town in 1992. Known for its vibrant Christian community, it was home to numerous churches and convents, sacred spaces where faith and education intertwined. Among them was the St. Pius X convent, a respected institution with a hostel that housed young women, many of whom were nuns or aspiring to take their vows. The convent was a sanctuary, a place where girls came to study, pray, and prepare for lives of service. It was here that 21-year-old Sister Abhaya, a soft-spoken and dedicated young woman, had found her calling. Abhaya, born Beena Thomas, was the daughter of a modest family from Kerala. She joined the convent with dreams of serving God and others, balancing her spiritual duties with her studies at a pre-degree college. Described by those who knew her as diligent and kind, she was a familiar figure in the convent's halls, often seen with her books or sharing quiet laughter with her friends. The night of March 26, 1992, was like any other. Abhaya shared dinner with her fellow nuns, chatted about their plans, and set her alarm for an early start. She went to bed, her books neatly arranged, ready for a pre-dawn study session. Nothing suggested that this night would end in tragedy. The St. Pius X convent was a sprawling complex, its grounds dotted with gardens, a hostel, and a well that supplied water to the residents. The kitchen, located near the hostel, was a communal space where nuns often gathered. It was equipped with a refrigerator, a sink, and basic utensils, a seemingly innocuous setting that would soon become the epicenter of a chilling crime. The convent's peaceful reputation made it an unlikely backdrop for violence, but as dawn broke on March 27, 1992, that illusion would shatter. The crime in the pre-dawn hours, Sister Abhaya stirred from sleep. The air was warm, the convent silent save for the faint rustle of palm trees outside. She greeted a few friends, her voice soft but cheerful, before settling down to study. Around 4:30 a.m., feeling the weight of fatigue, she decided to take a break. She left her books and walked to the kitchen, perhaps to splash cold water on her face or grab a drink from the fridge. The kitchen was dimly lit, the only sound the faint hum of the refrigerator. What happened next remains shrouded in mystery, but the scene that unfolded was one of sudden, brutal violence. According to later revelations, Abhaya stumbled upon something she wasn't meant to see, a compromising situation involving two priests, Father Thomas Kotor and Father Jose Puthrakyle, and a nun, Sister Sephi. The details of what she witnessed are murky, but the reaction was swift and deadly. In a moment of panic, Sister Sephi allegedly grabbed an axe from the kitchen and struck Abhaya on the head. The blow was devastating, leaving her unconscious or worse. The trio, realizing the gravity of their actions, dragged her limp body across the convent grounds to the well. With cold calculation, they threw her in, hoping the depths would conceal their crime. The kitchen bore silent witness to the chaos. A water bottle lay open, its contents spilled across the floor. One of Abhaya's slippers was abandoned near the sink, the other near the well. The fridge door hung ajar, a testament to the hurried violence that had erupted. As the first light of dawn crept over Kottayam, the convent remained eerily quiet, unaware of the horror that had unfolded within its walls. Investigation. The morning of March 27, 1992, began with confusion. When Abhaya didn't appear for morning prayers, her absence raised alarm among the nuns. A search of the convent led to the kitchen, where the spilled water and lone slipper hinted at something amiss. The discovery of her second slipper near the well prompted a nun to peer into its depths, her scream shattering the morning calm as she saw Abhaya's body floating below. The fire department was summoned, and local police, led by Officer V.V. Augustine, arrived to secure the scene. The initial investigation was cursory at best. Augustine noted the spilled water, the slipper, and the open fridge door, but his report leaned heavily on the assumption of suicide. A photographer was called to document the scene, and Abhaya's body was sent for autopsy. The post-mortem revealed cuts, bruises, and a head injury, yet the cause of death was listed as drowning, with suicide as the primary conclusion. This explanation baffled those who knew Abhaya. Why would a young woman with exams looming, who had set her alarm and shared dinner with friends, end her life so abruptly? The chaotic state of the kitchen, spilled water, an open fridge, a missing slipper, suggested a struggle, not a deliberate act. Public skepticism grew, fueled by the convent's sacred status and whispers of a cover-up. Activist Joman Puthanpurikal formed an action committee to demand justice, rallying the community to question the official narrative. On April 16, 1992, the case was transferred to Kerala's crime branch, but their months-long investigation echoed the local police's conclusion: suicide. By then, critical evidence had vanished. Abhaya's clothes were destroyed, her diary missing, and her body buried, leaving little for forensic analysis. The case's growing notoriety forced authorities to escalate it to India's Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, in 1993. The CBI approached the case with fresh eyes, re-interviewing witnesses and examining the sparse evidence. But in 1994, a bombshell dropped. CBI officer Varghese P. Thomas resigned, claiming he was pressured to classify Abhaya's death as a suicide. His public statement reignited public outrage, casting doubt on the investigation's integrity. Who was exerting this pressure? And why? The CBI persisted, conducting unconventional experiments like dropping a dummy into the well to simulate Abhaya's injuries. In 1996, they concluded her death was likely murder but couldn't identify the culprits. The court rejected this report, prompting a new CBI team to take over. By 1999, a panel of 3 doctors re-examined the autopsy findings, uncovering additional injuries missed in the initial report, marks that pointed unmistakably to foul play. Yet, the investigation stalled again, with the CBI admitting they couldn't pinpoint the killers. Over the years, the case became a lightning rod for controversy. Media reports suggested early mishandling, a rushed burial, burned clothes, and an incomplete post-mortem. Conspiracy theories abounded, with fingers pointed at powerful figures within the church. Witnesses recanted, some died, and suspects were questioned but released for lack of evidence. The court rejected multiple CBI reports, demanding clearer answers. By 2005, frustration was palpable, with activists like Puthanpurikal accusing authorities of shielding the guilty. Then, in 2007, a breakthrough emerged from an unlikely source: Adaka Raju, a petty thief who claimed to have been at the convent the night of the murder. Raju, a drifter who stole copper rods to survive, said he saw Father Thomas Kaur sneaking onto the convent grounds around midnight. He also spotted Father Jose Puthrikayal and Sister Sephi, their presence at such an hour raising red flags. Raju's story was explosive, but his criminal past made him a vulnerable witness. When he approached the police, they turned the tables, arresting him and accusing him of the murder. For 58 days, Raju endured alleged torture and bribes, offers of money, a job, even a house, to confess. But he held firm, his honesty earning grudging respect. Raju's testimony shifted the CBI's focus to Kaur, Puthrikayal, and Sephi. In 2008, the trio was named as primary suspects and sent for narco-analysis tests in Bengaluru. These tests, controversial but admissible at the time, involved injecting subjects with sodium pentothal to elicit truth. The results were recorded on CDs, but a scandal erupted when the recordings were found to be tampered with. Kaur's CD, 32 minutes long, was edited over 30 times, Puthrikayal's, 40 minutes, was altered 19 times, and Sephi's, 18 minutes, was edited 23 times. The doctor overseeing the tests, Dr. Malini, was suspended, and the original CDs mysteriously aired on a local TV station, revealing damning admissions. According to the narco tests, Abhaya caught Kaur, Puthrakayal, and Sefi in a compromising act in the kitchen. Sefi struck her with an axe, and the trio disposed of her body in the well. The CBI interrogated the suspects, but in 2009, they were released on bail, with Puthrakayal inexplicably cleared. The case dragged on, with hearings stretching into the next decade. Outcome and aftermath. In December 2020, after 28 years, the Kerala High Court delivered a verdict that stunned India. Father Thomas Kaur and Sister Sefi were sentenced to life imprisonment for Sister Abhaya's murder, fined 5 lakh rupees each, and ordered to pay compensation to her family. The court relied on Raju's testimony and the narco test results, despite their controversial nature. Father Jose Puthrakayal, however, walked free, his role in the crime unpunished. The verdict was a bittersweet triumph. For Abhaya's family, activists like Puthanpurakal, and the Kottayam community, it was a long overdue acknowledgement of her murder. Yet, the 28-year delay left scars. The case exposed deep flaws in India's justice system, shoddy initial investigations, lost evidence, and alleged interference by powerful institutions. The church's silence fueled speculation of a cover-up, with rumors of illicit relationships and institutional protection swirling for decades. Media coverage was relentless, transforming Abhaya's story into one of India's most enduring murder mysteries. Public reaction ranged from relief to outrage, relief that justice was served, outrage that it took so long. The case sparked debates about the sanctity of religious institutions, the vulnerability of women in convents, and the need for forensic rigor. Abhaya's memory became a rallying cry for reform, her name synonymous with perseverance in the face of systemic failure. Closing reflection. Sister Abhaya's story is a haunting reminder that truth, though buried, can rise to the surface through the unlikeliest of voices. A thief's courage, a community's resolve, a family's grief. Her life was brief, her death brutal, but her legacy endures as a call to question authority and demand justice, no matter how long the wait. As the well at St. Pius X convent stands silent today, it holds not just water but the weight of a tragedy that shook a nation, urging us to ensure no other voice is silenced in the dark.